get back into that. Let me start queuing up the music. You're good.
All right. Oh, hey, following that. All right. This one is called Something is Scratching on My Walls. About a month ago, me and my girlfriend of 3 years moved into our new house. It's a quaint one-story home by a smallish lake. There are about 10 houses surrounding the lake in all, but they're all fairly far apart. We know our neighbors, but not well. The sound started about a week ago. Violent scratching, almost like an animal, but far too rhythmic. It would start with 2 scratches, but then a small pause, then 3, a pause, 4, and so forth. It would continue, going up by 1 scratch each and every time. Scratching was from outside our bedroom wall. At least it was the first time. The next night, we heard it again, this time from outside the kitchen. Then we heard it again when it was coming from outside the living room. Every night, the scratching started from 2 or 1 and counted up until it inevitably stopped. The highest I've ever counted it to was 38, and that was the 5th night. My girlfriend was put off by it, but she didn't hear it like I did. She didn't hear the rhythmic pattern. She wrote it up as an animal, something natural. It was entirely explainable. But I wasn't so certain. To me, it felt like something conscious. It sounded like it was intentional, and it sure as hell sounded malicious. Every night it would happen around the same time, midnight. Me and my girlfriend would be going to sleep or sitting down in the front room, and all of a sudden, the rhythmic scratching would commence. I never went outside to try to see what it was. I also never argued too much with my girlfriend over what I was hearing. The last thing I wanted to do was prevent her from sleeping. She was a nurse and often spent all day at the hospital, and I wasn't home until late evening or early night. But this night was different. She was on a late shift, not due to be home until around 12:15. I wanted to stay awake to see her get home, but I also had a long day at work, and I needed sleep. I went to bed around 11:50. I closed my eyes and turned off the bedside lamp, and I heard it. I had half forgotten what it was. I was so tired that I brushed it off at first. It was the 5th scratch that woke me up. It was loud. It was shrill. I managed to drag myself out of bed and into the living room. I tried to pinpoint where it was coming from. Was it the kitchen, living room, or the laundry room? And I heard the 12th scratch. It came from the front door. I didn't want to open it. I didn't want to see what was on the other side. But it was 10 after 12 now, and my girlfriend would be here any minute. I didn't want her to run to wherever this person, this thing, or whatever it was on the other side. I took a deep breath, then I opened the door. There was nothing. No signs of scratches or dents. Nothing. Except there was a puddle of water, like someone had just come in from the rain and was at the doorstep. It hadn't rained that night as far as I knew. No one had been to our door that night either. Then I heard it, a loud screeching. It was like a retching howl of a creature I couldn't quite put my finger on. Then I saw lights, headlights, my girlfriend's headlights. The howl was from her direction. I took off running roughly 20 yards up to her. And there it was, in front of her car, some sort of creature. It was a beast that looked foul, kind of humanish, and inhuman at the same time. It was on all fours, dripping with water and covered in duckweed. He was standing on the hood of my girlfriend's car, staring in at her, snarling. The second she saw me, she threw open the door and ran as fast as she could in my direction. The creature screeched, chasing after her. I grabbed her and ran for her front door. I practically threw her in the house as I reached into the entryway cabinet, grabbed my hunting rifle. Raced outside. It was nearly to our doorstep. I aimed the gun and fired it towards the beast. Loud and painful screech sounded from it. It didn't fall over, didn't collapse. It just ran. It ran away from our house towards the lake. I stood there baffled and alert as it went into the lake. I stood there for what felt like an eternity. It never came back out. We left that night. Needless to say, we never went back. We didn't even clear it out for new people who moved in. We've been staying in my parents' place ever since. We don't plan on leaving it anytime soon. We did warn the new owners of the occurrence, but the couple was old and skeptical. All they cared about was how cheap they got it for. I still don't know what it was we saw that night or how it could be underwater for so long. I don't know how the neighbors have never told us anything about it, or how they have seemingly never experienced anything like it before. These are all questions that could only be answered by returning, and therefore these questions we'll never know because we swore to ourselves that we will never go back.
So many people ask, what is duckweed?
It's kind of like
See if I can find it here.
colloquialism for like the weeds that are like in like lakes that where ducks and shit hang out, you know.
Ducks and shit hang out. Let me try to find it here. Oh, okay. Okay, it's like, try to get a good picture here. It's a picture of a dude, see if I can show it on the camera or not. It's just literally the green stuff that floats in the water. That makes it look nasty. Yeah. How big was the creature, people are asking? Luke, you were there, damn it. Tell us everything, Luke. You know you were there.
So he described it as crouched on the hood of the car. So I'm
on the hood of her car. So
yeah.
Let's back it up here. He's been hearing stuff for days.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, as they were commenting along here, are saying animal on the wall, yada, yada, yada. This all comes down and it ends. The ending of this is he goes outside because he hears it howling. It's been scratching. He hears it howling this time, and it's on the hood of her car, his girlfriend's car.
Yeah. It apparently had been scratching at the door, and then she was pulling up, and then he heard it howling as it was going towards her car, and then it was on the hood of her car afterwards.
Jesus.
So I'm picturing like large dog size, judging by the description.
It does kind of like the way the story starts. It's like there's like a raccoon in your attic or something, you know?
That's what I was going on when I started reading it myself. I was like, oh, this is probably something like raccoon in the wall or something like that, because like that happens, especially out in the middle of the woods, you know, or by a lake like that.
That's a really cool story. What did you title this one?
Something scratching on my walls.
I wonder if they have like physical evidence of the scratching, you know? Like, did it cause any damage?
So he said there was no scratch marks on the door when he opened it up. He did mention that there was no dents or scratch marks. That they just mentioned that they had heard it several times. But they never mentioned actually seeing any scratchings. And then that one time when he opened the door, he didn't say anything.
I'm obviously multitasking here, so there's parts of it I missed, I'm sure. The description, what did it look like exactly? Like, was this thing hairy? Was this thing...
So I don't believe he got a fully good look at it because of the headlights being shown at him.
He just started shooting at some bitch.
Yeah. But he did say that it looked human-ish as well as being inhuman. And it was on all fours.
Human-ish. So that would mean, I don't want to speak for this person that shared the story. It had to have body parts that looked humanish, but it was just crouched down on all fours, right?
That's what my takeaway was.
I'm picturing like not on their knees on all fours. I'm picturing like on their feet on all fours, like doing like a creepy
feet and hands thing. Yeah.
He got a gun.
Yeah, he had a hunting rifle inside the door in his cabinet there.
He just started firing. Did he say he hit it or not? He don't know.
He said he thought he hit it, but it didn't like react to the hit. And then it just ran off into the lake.
It ran off into the lake. I guess I missed that part. It just jumped into the lake or what?
Yeah, it went under the water and everything. He said he waited what he thought was an eternity. Never saw it come back out.
It's old Greg. I don't know. I don't know if anybody listening remembers that. Anyway, he don't know if he shot it or not. Didn't go out there and look to see if there was any, blood splatter or anything. I don't know.
No, they just left that night after they determined it wasn't coming back.
Yeah, they never came back. So they disclosed this to the people that bought the house after.
Yeah, and they left all their stuff behind. They said they didn't go back for that. So
I thought he said it ran into the lake after he did shoot it. Yeah, that's what he said. It ran into the lake after he thinks he shot it. He doesn't know if he shot it.
Yeah, he assumed he hit it, but it didn't react as if it was shot.
Terminator stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy. How do you think that conversation went with the people that were going to buy the house?
I
Hey,
would have.
let me cut you off and just guess how it went.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just wanted to let you know there's this crazy ass creature that shows up. He scratches the walls. I saw him the other week, and real creepy looking thing. Kind of looked like a person crawling around. He was on the hood of my girlfriend's car, and I shot at him. I don't know. I think I hit him or not. He ran off and jumped in the lake. Wanted to let you know.
That's almost exactly how I assumed it would go.
That's how it have to go. I don't know how you tell somebody that. I understand that they didn't believe him. Like,
Yeah.
why would you believe that?
No, yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Somebody said they wouldn't tell them.
Kind of reminds me of a couple other stories I had mentioned before. There was that one guy who was out on the lake fishing, and he saw that creature by his truck. And I believe it went into the lake at some point.
Hmm.
And so it kind of reminds me of that.
Are you saying this is skinwalker material?
Or the what people call the knot deer.
The knot deer. The knot deer is the most dangerous deer of all deers because it's not a deer.
Yeah.
No extra charge, somebody said. Crazy monsters came for free with the house. Yeah, I don't know how you'd pitch that. But I guess it's cheap, right? People were just like, hey, I'll take it.
I mean, if you got a lake house, you're going to be able to move it.
You think the monster ever came back?
I don't know.
This guy should have stayed up on it. I need to know if that house was sold again afterwards or not.
I would have, I would have checked to see if it went back up for sale on like Zillow or something.
This is a crazy ass sighting. I don't even know what you would say. I think I need to play this. I got to find it here because
You saw the dog, didn't you? The black dog. I've heard truckers talk about it on the yard. They say it comes to take everything away from you.
And it did.
and it did. I mean, there's nothing else you could say. You've experienced something that I'm sure, though. Like, what's the likelihood that this thing just messed around with that house for a while, then it was never to be seen again? It had to keep messing around with this house.
Yeah, definitely. It did.
It did. It did. Creepy as heck. Man, that's a good story. See if we got any more comments. We've been reading them as gone along. The duckweed dog. Yeah, the duckweed not deer. There's a lot of different things we could call this thing. There are a lot of people commenting on the sale of this house afterwards and how that would come about.
Yeah.
That's become the focal point of this story, and it really, I guess, shouldn't, because it was actually a really awesome story. I'm just trying to picture this creature, and I can't wait to see what Jack has to make when he makes a thumbnail for this.
I hope it involves duckweed, because that's also been a big part of the story so far, is everyone thinks about the duckweed.
Some bitch just cut. By the time we're done with it, he's gonna be like he was spewing and spitting duckweed on the car. It's gonna really escalate. That's a really cool story, though.
It'll be something that's going to be everybody's vocabulary for the rest of their lives now. They're saying duckweed every once in a while.
It's a damn shame that we'll never know more, about some of these stories that we share. Like, did anything else happen after this?
Jeff Townsend Media. CG, good night.
And the question is, do I stay here? Will you be back? Are you gonna come back? Will you be back? Are you coming back?